There, and you take my spot. Thank you to everybody for being here today on this very important day at the Capitol. And I think we all realize this is an important day, maybe a defining day for this governor, Eliot Spitzer, and for the people of New York State, the 18.5 million people. I think we realize today the governor has to come out with a heartfelt presentation. One that can convince the public that his rhetoric in this particular year, in this particular state of the state, is going to be matched by the reality of some accomplishments. And the number one thing we want to hear as an Assembly Republican Conference, and I think the 18.5 million people in New York State, is that the governor has a good understanding of the fact that we are in a crisis mode in this state right now. And the crisis is, you know, they used to say it's the economy, stupid. Well, it's the economy and jobs, but it's the property tax also. We are in a property tax crisis right now. It's the senior citizen, it's the farmer, it's the middle income wage earner, it's the small business. We're number one in the nation in property taxes. They continue to skyrocket. It's a crushing burden on the people we represent. Everywhere we go, the emails we get, the letters, what are you going to do about the property taxes? If we're going to turn this economy around, if we're going to create jobs, if we're going to keep small businesses here, if we're going to stop the brain drain and get a brain gain, kids who are getting great educations but see their parents say, I can't almost afford to live in my house or live in New York State anymore because of the cost of living, the governor has to come out today, not with a proposal to study, not with a commission, not with the understanding that there may be a problem with property taxes in New York State, and that's what's not turning around this economy or stifling us or having us have this exodus of population. He's got to come out and say, I'm for property tax. Here's my proposal. I plan on instituting it now. And yeah, I'd like input from the New York State legislature. I'd like input from the 18.5 million people. I'd like to know what you think about my property tax cap policy. Now, we have the Property Tax Protection Act. We're the only conference right now here in the New York State Legislature which has a proposal to cap the property tax. It's at inflation or 4%, whichever is lower. It also takes mandates off of local school districts. It also provides very good funding for local school districts. But what it says to this is that we're not going to use this logic anymore. And the logic has always been this. The more money we give to school districts in aid to education, the more likely we're going to get a reduction of our property taxes. Every time I ask somebody who's in a room hearing me speak, raise your hand if any of your property taxes have gone down with the unbelievable expanded amounts of aid we give to education. Not one person raises their hands because the property taxes don't go down. The aid is spent on a good education, and it should be spent on a good education. But let's be mindful. Let's listen to what the governor said last year. We spend more per capita per child for education than any state in the nation, and we have some of the lowest graduate rates. So the money is not the answer to the question. What we have to do is provide good funding to make sure we take some of those mandates off that are so costly, but then say, we're going to cap you at the rate of inflation of 4% so our property taxpayers can get some consistency, can get some belief in this government that we're going to allow us to be competitive for individuals to stay, to create jobs, to attract those workers who have those skills for the high-tech and nanotech industry that we want to develop here in the region, the capital region, in upstate New York, and in New York State. So it's going to be very difficult, I think, to give any standing ovations to the governor if he begins to talk about a study or a commission. If he says, I'm committed to a property tax cap, I'm going to provide a property tax cap, I'm going to push for it in the budget, I want input. I don't care if he gives a commission and says, give me input on my recommendation, give me elected officials' input, give me taxpayers' input, and let's get one and put one together. But it's just going to be lip service. It is really just going to be lip service and an indication that he doesn't understand how serious this chronic crisis is in terms of the beleaguered property taxpayer in New York State. And I'll venture to guess this. If he puts forth a real property tax cap, if he gets it done in the Senate and the Assembly, gets it passed and get it signed, we won't be calling him the steamroller anymore. We'll be calling him the rescue vehicle for upstate New York and its economy and the beleaguered property taxpayer. That's what we're looking to hear from him today.